God, it's the BC3 Amigos. Oh my God, gang. It feels like it's been a while, but I think we're all either landlocked with ice, snow, and everything in between, in the middle, because we just can't leave our homes right now. And we're stuck here, gang. So we thought, why not do a BC3 Amigo? Here we are, Monday, the 26th of January. And let's do financial reporting because,
Sure.
I think we should all be financial reporting heroes and, hashtag, financial reporting heroes. But definitely let's talk financial reporting. What do you think? What do you think, gang?
Hey, sounds good to me.
Yep.
Hey, it's the end of the year. They got to know how to close their books. They got to have reports.
That's true.
Yeah. And there's good stuff in Business Central. It just kills me when people act like they cannot use Business Central for their financial reports.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's do that. Let me share my screen out. So again, we are technologically not disadvantaged here, gang. So we know what we're doing.
Challenged.
We're just challenged people. All right, gang. Let's do this real fast because we have a lot of information we want to give you guys, and we want to tell you a lot about what's going on here. So first and foremost, I'm just going to open up the financial reporting menu in Business Central in a basically a play database. And what I want to talk about are the BC building blocks. What really do I have to set up to really get all of my reporting started? Like where do I basically bring over the cement and pour some foundational information into Business Central so I can get started here? The four major things are column definition. We'll talk about that in a second. Row definition, analysis views, and of course, the financial report setup in and of itself, the setting up of this financial report. So those are the four main things. Let's go through them really in brief, and let's just talk about them in its entirety. So I'm going to start off with the row definition. I'm just going to pick one real fast so that we can make life easier. I'm going to pick this income one so I can just open it up, open in the full list. Okay, here we go. We have row definitions, and here we have all these row definitions. A couple of things to note. Anything with an M hyphen comes from Microsoft Business Central. Those are the ones that come with the software out of the box. They're the ones that are linked. If you actually look into the data, it's the ones that are linked back to your general ledger account. So if you make changes, these are the things that are updated. So therefore, if I add a GL account or anything like that, it's going to update the M ones. So just be aware of it. So please make sure when you do look at a row definition, if I'm staring at, like, say, income statement here, and I want to modify it, make a copy of this. And again, just, go in here, make a copy of it, and then call it something new to start off the day. Let's go into M income just to open it up. And I know it's yelling at me to make a new one. So let's make a new one real quick here. We're going to call this the BC3 income statement because we like to call that. And now the BC3 income statement has been set forth. So on here, I've got my rows, and all my rows here define how I want to use and evaluate everything. So again, from a row definition standpoint, it's what accounts do I include in my rows? How are they grouped, summarized, and subtotaled? And where should those subtotals and totals appear within my rows? Now, one thing you should note, I did something pretty wild up here. This is more advanced, which could be another conversation for another day, but you can set percentages, like percentages of total income and other things like that. You can see that I've set a row number for every row in here. I have bold things that are headers, that are basically header lines, and I will show them. I might put them in bold text. I might have income here, and I show it in the opposite sign so it looks proper on the document. I've got subtotals and formulas, adding rows, and here's cost of goods sold. Gross profit takes the row formulas and adds them up to come up with gross profit. Then I go through expenses, and then I total my expenses, and then, of course, I end with net income. The coolest thing I'm going to tell you about coolest thing that I believe is the fact that with here, you can actually do a lot of the row definition decides what to show, how to make comparisons, and basically it establishes the meaning of each column, such as current month of information. It establishes, those column definitions. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about rows here.
I was going to say, you're in the columns.
I'm in the column, and I'm sitting there talking about rows here, and I'm sitting there going, shame on me. So the row definitions establish what data am I going to pull out from what area. So for instance, I'm going to establish either a posting group, a totaling account, a formula. Did you know you can underline and double underline things? I think that's the coolest thing, considering when you look at people's financials, everything's always underlined or double underlined depending upon what they're looking for. You can also establish, when you're doing cash flow statements, the account categories and the cash flow entries accordingly. As well as statistical accounts. So inside of my P&L, maybe I need to establish one row that talks about FTEs, and I can establish that there. So call it in using my statistical account right here. Of course, my net
or revenue by employee.
That's true.
Pounds sold for the month.
Hey, wait a minute. Maybe because if we do it right, salespeople could be a statistic, and it's a salesperson.
There you go.
It's possible. Yeah, if we don't use dimensions, why not do it that way as well? So one of the cool things about row types, you obviously know net change is the most popular, month to month. Of course, balance at date or beginning balance. Of course, when you're thinking of balance sheets or you're doing running trailing reports, maybe a 12-month trailing report where you want to start out with balances at date. Of course, you have the amount type, net, as well as debit credit. You can do the individual ones. And yes, gang, the financial reports are getting into sustainability, carbon fees, CO2 emissions, things like that. So a lot of people overseas who are doing their sustainability reporting can also do that here in the financial reports as well. Now, without going any further, I'm going to stop talking about this because I only have a limited amount of time. But my best thing here is if I go into column definitions, and I'm just going to open this one up here just for a quick review. Let's open this one up here. We'll edit my column definition. And here the fun begins, kind of where I was saying before where Kim just said stop. So here is where we define and we decide what in the world are we going to show by column. Do I want to show 12-month rolling 12-month P&L? You can do that. Set up the right amount of columns, tell the actual column header what it's for, what month you're in, set the actual amount type, of course, net, debit, credit again. Where are my entries coming from? Is it coming from the general ledger entry table, the budget entry table? Set up whether I'm going to do a column type, which is basically a formula where I'm doing some math, a net change per month, again, a year-to-date factor, and you're also doing month-to-date also. If you're doing month-to-date, 12-month rolling. I love this part because this is where my head starts thinking, to myself, current month, prior month, year-to-date, budget, variances, ratios. I mean, the things you can do now with this financial reports are amazing. And I know we don't have a lot of time here because I'm wetting your whistles here because I'm hoping you're going to go back and play with this more and more. But I want you to go back and really start creating those column definitions that management wants, whether it be a period to date, year to date with a percent of sales, or maybe I want you to do one that's just year over year, month to month, 12-month rolling, or this year versus last year, and again, and so on and so forth.
Hey, now, Steve,
yes?
If you create if you're in, I think it's at least 26.5, and you go create a demo company in your database, you get 24 column definitions.
Yep.
24 of them. Guys, you can look at those and get ideas about all kinds of things. So you've got about 15 or so, but there's even more.
The best part is the fact that, include the date in the column header. Can you imagine including the date finally? You know how all the time we used to have to write a column header here that just says current period +1, current period +2. It was like ridiculous. It was like there were people yelling at us saying, who the heck does this? And now I can actually say, give me
all kinds of options.
Give me the month and year, all kinds of options you've got here. And when you think of all the enhancements to the column definition, it is just endless right now. And Kim is right. Again, if you load, a new version in Kronos, you will get predefined ones out of the box. If you want to go load one and then copy it back to your production company, you can certainly do that using a config package. So 2 more things, and then I'm going to pass it on.
You don't even need a config pack.
Oh, that's true. You can copy and paste it if you want.
You don't need a config pack. There's a copy, export, import right up there on the menu.
There you go.
Right there. Copy it out, export it out, import it back in.
Just like data exchange definitions.
So one thing to note here is column analysis view names. Now, I've left this blank just because I want to show things in here, so we're playing around. So if I pick this bottom one, and I'm just going to go quickly into this, I can actually set up my column analysis views on my master setup right here. If I want to come in here, you can set up the analysis views. Obviously, if I show more.
Hey, Steve, why do I need an analysis view?
I love an analysis view because I like to slice and dice data dimensionally. I'm a dimensional fiend, and in fact, I'm probably a dimensional psycho puppy, to be honest with you. I look at data dimensionally. So if I'm looking at dimensionally beyond the global dimensions, so basically
that was what I was waiting to hear. Beyond the global dimensions.
Beyond the global dimensions is I want to set up so I can slice and dice my data using analysis views where I'm looking at, whether I'm doing at cost centers, whether I'm looking at, projects, which is another dimension I've got in my list here, contracts, which is another dimension, departments, which is another dimension. I like to set up my analysis views, and I can do it that way. Now, one thing to note, if I want to come in here and I don't like to do it through this, you can actually come in, and of course I can under here you can edit report definitions, which is the main report itself, the row definitions, and the column definitions. It is not going to drop down the analysis ones. You can come over here, and if you type the word analysis and now analysis, and again, spelling is not my forte today because it's Monday and I've set up a couple here, one departmental right here because I love my departments. And when I come in here, this is basically going to slice and dice my data outside of the global world. I can do it through campaigns as well. And again, you can see dimension 1 and dimension 2, global 1, global 2. But maybe I want to do this one, where I want to look at contracts. Or maybe I want to put it here because I want to look at things by area. And because my management says I must have a report that looks at every area of the business, meaning area of the United States, and also how the departments are doing financially when it comes to general departmental expenses. And of course, I can come in here, I update the record, which is basically going to go through and update it real fast. And then, of course, I can run this analysis view if I step back, and then, of course, go into the analysis by dimension, and then I can see the matrix down below. Nice part is, of course, you can always look at this, what period you're looking for. And remember, please look at the days you're looking at. This is set to day default. You can always preset it to month because obviously I want to look at it from a month's perspective and in whatever period my column set is set to. And you can change the column set as well. So 4 things to note. Remember, rows, columns, analysis views, and then, of course, make sure you set up the report definition here of how you want it to look. What is my default column definition? What is my default row definition? Do I want to look at negative numbers with the minus sign? What am I going to look at this always in days, or should I always look at this in months every time I open it? Do I have any other filters, show all lines, etc.? Now, there's a default Excel layout, but I'm going to leave that for somebody else kind of to mention. So I think there's more things to hear from our friends, our BC3 Amigos, regarding Excel and other topics. I'm going to stop sharing right now. And I think, Rob, do you want to go next?
Kim, that rolls right into Kim.
Let Kim go. Because Kim's going to talk about it now.
Oh, okay.
I think let's go.
What I want to show today is using Excel templates, because I think a lot of people do not like what the financial reports look like right straight out of Business Central. And I think this is a really cool thing, and I've taken it a little bit further. I'm going to scroll up here. All right. I want to run this for January. I want you to see that my cash has $264,000 in it. Okay. That's important. So remember that. All right. I'm going to start. I've already done my columns and rows in my financial report, all the things that Steve talked about. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a new Excel template. This is just going to put this out in Excel. I will open that file. Excel always wants to be temperamental, at least the first time it opens. And it's cold here in Fort Worth, Texas, so everything's moving slow. Okay, so this is my report. And it is pretty bland, I have to tell you. Get me into enable editing. So here's what I do. I almost always start at B6, We're playing bingo. Okay. No. And I'm going to create a new sheet. I'm going to go to B6 and I'm going to say equals B6. Then I'm going to take that and I'm going to spread it across. So I got balance, and now I'm going to go down the page till I see my total equity. And I'm going to make this big again. Now I'm going to play. I'm going to make this bold, and we're just going to bold. I wish this would come over because Steve already set these in his row layouts. My underlines aren't here. I did have one where I had my underlines set up and the underlines did come over. I also do not like, I don't need zeros for my headings and blank lines, right? Okay, is this a little tedious? Yes, but I only have to do it once. All right, I want that to be bold too. Now I'm going to take this and make it dollars. And I could do some conditional formatting if I'm good in Excel where my negatives could be red, right? You know what? We don't have a darn thing up here that says the company name. I like to do this myself. And this is my company name. I'm going to do another little one here. And I'm going to pick up. Now, I do know that there's a setting you can do to pick up like the maximum value out of that field. Or I could set up another sheet that looked at that and said, make that one January, right? I'm going to do some fancy stuff here by doing, let's make the field blue. And let's turn the letters white. And, just starting to make it look a little bit nicer, right? Again, more things that I can do. And I do have my 264,000. Now I'm going to rename this. I like this to be a little bit more formal. I'm going to hide this one. And I'm just going to save this. And I'll call it, where I'm going to save it to. Save as. Put it in my downloads folder is totally fine. Balance sheet. Okay, I'm going to close it. Yeah, I've got some other files. Save those. I'm going to come back in here. I had a default layout. I guess I was playing. So I'm just going to delete this one. I'm going to set up a new one. I'll call this balance sheet. I can put a description here again if I want to, and file name balance sheet only. But what I'm going to do here is do an import, go out to my downloads folder where I saved that file, grab my balance sheet. Okay, so I've connected that balance sheet back into Business Central. So let's run this again. But let's run it for February. 250. What was it last time?
264.
264. Right? So we know we're looking at different numbers. We're going to come up here and we're going to say, you know what? Use that layout and go ahead and open that in Excel. So it does. Comes back. Well, we have to open Excel again.
Squirrel's cold.
Typically, it doesn't take as long the second time. But yeah, it is really cold. All right. So we do click enabling. Don't panic because it's blank right now. Date changed.
Look at that.
Amount changed. Yeah. This is all now February's data. Isn't that cool? So you could set one up for your income statement or maybe a cash flow. And then my goal was going to be, I haven't done this yet here, but I was going to set up my financial board package and link a tab to this spreadsheet, link a tab to my income statement spreadsheet, and link a tab to my cash flow worksheet. Boom. Here's the reporting package.
That is,
I think that's pretty cool.
So freaking cool. I mean, when you think about, we all love Excel. We don't want to print a PDF anyway. So the fact that you can give this to, say, a whole bunch of folks and they can run this on their own without having to call you up, I mean, that's $1 million right there.
Well, and just think if I'm doing a financial statement or even a balance sheet where I'm doing year over year, I could do a chart. I can add any Excel tools I can add in here and make, and then those can be used. It would automatically update those as well.
And if you're doing consolidation, you can have another spreadsheet that pulls in from all the different columns, all the different
companies. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think here's a teaser, but I heard we might even get some more features in the next version. Maybe. It's on the wish list.
Maybe.
I put it in with Santa Claus, and he said, "Wait till April and see if you get it or not."
Hey, Kim, if anybody from
Yes.
Microsoft is listening, I would wish that when you do the export, there was a way that it could not show the columns that have zero balances.
These right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be nice. That would be nice. I'm sure if I was really good at Excel, I could have a macro that would hide them. But
Well, the one problem with that, and I do see why, because maybe one month I don't have a balance, but the next month I do, and you can't screw up your spreadsheet. So
yeah, it's fair.
It's probably more of a like, I need to see prepaid expenses. I know it's zero, but next month there's $100 in it, so it's probably tougher to remove it, to have it go show hide. Kind of like you're always going to print the balance sheet, even if it's got a zero. I want to see the account because of the summary. But the cool thing alone is the fact that you put like KPIs on the side and do some cool graphing. So that's pretty cool.
It really is. Especially think about
nice.
even budget analysis, or like I said, this conditional formatting where you could change colors. Let's say you have a budget and you want to show things that are over budget with a different color. I just think the visuality that we can get with Excel and some of those tools that, Excel's not my forte, Business Central's my baby. But I just love it. Anyway, that's the quick one I wanted to show. Rob, take us on and upward.
All righty.
Take us home to warm weather.
I wish I could give you warm weather. I'm in South Texas and it ain't warm. So y'all have some fancy stuff out there, and I like to build those financial reports for the people. But sometimes people, they just want to go out to where they have their main page and they don't want to do any fancy clicking. So I like to share with them after we built the financial reports how they can just go to their chart of accounts. And here's a chart of accounts out here. And this has all the data that they've been working with out there. I've got some extra columns out here. We don't need to worry about those for now. But I'm going to focus on net change and balance due. And so out here, you see, I've already built a whole bunch of views. We call them views because they're based on filters I've previously set. And a couple of things out here. So first of all, if I want to see a trial balance, I've got one set up out here. We'll take a quick look at the July 25 trial balance. And when I click on that, it's already set for the balance out here. If I looked at my net change right now, you can't worry about your balance because that is the current balance as of whatever date you're running it. But my net change, if I go into net change out here, that's only going to be through July of 25. So let me go back out of here. And here's the other thing. We can make this even more compressed. So if I look at what my filter is out here, it says from the beginning of time through 2025, through July 31st, 2025. And if I want to get fancier, I can say, well, okay, I only want to see where my net change, hang on, we'll go back, got to get out of here. I want to see my net change is not zero. Yeah, not zero. So now I'm looking at I could export this right out to Excel and I would see all of this in my trial balance. Again, we're going to exclude the stuff that's out here because again, this is life to date balance. This is life to date through the date that I've set on my filter that's out here. And this is my trial balance. Now, here's the other thing though. So that's my trial balance, but maybe I want an income statement. So the other thing I can do out here is we're going to go into January 2026. We'll see what we've got out here. And notice I now have where I'm only looking at my balances greater than zero, or not zero, because I might have some negatives. And I also have only my balance sheet accounts. So
income statement accounts.
Yeah, the income statement. Thank you, ma'am. And this is the balance for the year to date. And then I have my net change for the month. And this is can send this out to Excel without having to look at anything. Or again, because I just want to see what my numbers are, I can come down to the bottom and see where my net change or my net income is for the year or the month. Now, this is just doing your balance sheet or your income statement, or you can just look at your fixed assets if you want to do that. But, Kim, you shared with me a while ago, we were talking about loans and balances and things like that. And I've never really thought about using dimensions for balance sheet because, Microsoft says, well, you really can't use that for that. But if you control the postings to those balance sheet accounts, you can't do it with inventory and you can't do it with receivables, but you certainly can do it with a loan account. So let's get out of this filter for a moment. We'll go take a look at something here. and get rid of all my, I'm going to show all. And we're going to
That's a great idea.
So we're going to go down to loans. Somewhere I've got a loan account down here. In fact, I don't know where it is. We're just going to type. All right. So I've got these loans out here. And notice people always want to know, well, what are my balances by the individual loans I've got? So Steve touched on this earlier. We're going to go to analysis views. And I built this analysis view for loans, only for loans. So let's take a look at it real quick. So you see that it's called loans. It's got loan analysis. And I'm pulling from my GL account, and I'm filtering only on the GL account that has that analysis out here. The other thing that you can do out here is you can have this automatically update. So every time I do my posting, it's going to go ahead and update automatically. So let's go back to my view out here for a minute. Just wanted to share how that was. We're going to go to the analysis, and now I'm going to put a date filter on. I don't have a lot of good data out here, so I'm going to put history of data out here. So we'll go 01/01/24 through 12/31/24. So I'm just looking at one set of years. The other thing I want to do out here is I don't need to see the lines as a GL account because I already know that I've got GL account 21,950 out here. So now I'm going to change that and say I want to see it by loan. So I'm seeing loans by period for this time period. So let's go take a look now at the matrix and look at this gives me the activity, the net balances for those loans. And you can see if I wanted to click on what happened here, if I go into November, I'm going to see that I made a payment. And what is the payment? Well, there it is, loan payment for whatever account. You know,
that's nice.
Kim, that was a great idea you had a while ago. I never thought much about it. But here's the other thing it does for you. When you do something like that, waiting for this to refresh here, you know, lots of people set up their loans and you know, it's a set amount, but if they pay it off early or they pay it late, there might be an extra balance that's out here. So it gives you a preview. And notice here, we have some balances that go way back. Nothing's changed on here. This loan has probably been paid off. But here, somebody went in there and said, oh, wait a minute, there's 10 cents, 10 cents. So let's go take a look at what happened out here. And down here, I've got 10 cents. Let's see what happened. Oh, adjust loan balance to pay off the equity based on the equity was paid. So this is a cool way to track things like loans. And I can tell you, I've seen a lot of companies out there with lots of loans. And let's take one last look at the chart of accounts for a moment. I only have one GL account for loans. Well, let's type that back in again.
Instead of a whole long list of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, instead of a massive list, now I can use dimensions and totally look at it from a different angle. One account, then explode.
I had somebody do the same thing with sales tax. They had an account in their chart of accounts, one for every state.
Oh.
I was like, well, why don't we use a dimension for that?
I want to point out that some people have to put this into their reporting package. So if I share my matrix out here, I can always send that out to Excel and include that.
Really, management would really appreciate that, man. That is wicked.
Yeah,
cool.
That is nice.
All right. Well, gang, I mean, we did three different, we had a nice, quick little session here teaching our subscribers and our members, how to do financial reporting. Again, this is just a snippet. Expect more and more coming from us through our articles, through our blogs, through the BC3 Amigo podcast here. We'll talk more in the future months. Plus, we'll also be inviting some special people in the upcoming months and some guests to come out and speak about their software and possibly what they're doing in Business Central in this 2026 year because of I'll call it the year of AI. I mean, for now, a year of AI in reporting. But I want everybody that when you go back and you take all of what we just said and you go back and play, I want you to talk about it. I want you to go out, maybe chat about it. And if you chat about it, I want you to put, don't forget to hashtag the BC3 Amigos, but also I want you to hashtag Financial Reporting Hero because I want you to make sure that everybody knows you're becoming the financial reporting hero for your company.
Absolutely.
So don't forget about it. Absolutely. And I'm going to say, let's hope that the weather gets warm and people can keep moving around here instead of us being hibernating in our homes because we can't get outside because of the snow and ice. But I don't know. I think there's a couple of things. I mean, Kim and Rob, you're going to be at a conference coming up this week. So where are you guys going to be? And what are you talking about?
South
let's
Texas.
tell our audience.
The Rio Grande Valley.
Way down south.
Way
Rob
down
said,
south. Okay.
I said, I don't know if I can get out of here with the weather the way it is because it's streets are ice. And he said, you're flying? And I said, well, I'm not driving. It's over 8 hours one direction.
Holy moly. Wow. I mean, 8 hours for me, I would be in Buffalo if I drove from Massachusetts to
Hey,
Buffalo.
Kim, and you're not even in North Texas.
No, I'm just kind of middle of the state.
Wow. So you guys are going to be at Vibe doing some education on BC's financial reporting. Kim, you said, and Rob, what are you speaking about?
I'm going to explain WHIP. I'm going to take the mystery out of WHIP.
Excellent. And then I guess our next conference where we might we're going to be at it. We don't know what sessions because they haven't announced them yet, is Directions North America.
Yep. That's
in, of course, Orlando again this year. So down in Orlando, that's the partner conference. And then Dynamics Con, 2026 in Vegas. That's in May. And next month they'll start announcing some of the speakers very quickly. So by next month we'll hear about the agenda in February. And hopefully we'll see all of us there speaking on a wide variety of topics. So that'll be pretty cool. And then I think rounds out the first half of the year, is there anything else special?
We have a road show in Houston.
Ah, that's right.
In March. Right. I'm sure there's a couple of other road shows. I don't know. Since I'm not going to them, I don't know what the dates are.
Yeah, there's a couple of more, but I know some have been canceled. So please check the roadshow calendar to see what's really going to happen and what the agenda is. So please double check. We'll try our best to put it on this video podcast at the very end. We'll make an announcement of what roadshows are coming up. We'll put a slide out there to tell you where we're going to be and also what roadshows are coming up so you can attend those, or a regional Doug event. Don't forget about those that are happening throughout the U.S. So I guess that's it for Monday the 26th here. I mean, I think...
Adios. Stay warm.
Stay warm, everybody.
Bye.
Adios.